it says you are live, and that means me and you, Mrs. Comic here. Clee's sister's in the house. They're telling us we're not in this house, in the chat room house. Let's see, here we go. Greetings, unshunned and newcomers, and welcome to another edition of Trying to Make Tuesdays Suck Less. It's January 23rd, 2024, and we got some silly things going on here tonight. It is my mother's birthday. She would have been 107 years old today, and it's hard to believe, but I got my foul mouth from her and my sense of humor, and spoilers right now, you won't believe this in the morning anyway. Uh, my mother is the person who actually wrote my catchphrase, fuck you and a bucket of goo. So here is a happy birthday toast to my mother and the writer, uh, founding mother, not founding father, founding mother of fuck you and a bucket of goo. Happy birthday, Mama Amish Comic. Mama Amish Comic. There's a little sip there. Cheers. I can't get too liquored up this early of the show here. Bippity boppity boo. Yes, try and make Tuesday suck less. That winter blah hits you too now. It's dark and it's cold and it snows and it doesn't and it rains and then um, that factors into crawling food outside for the feral bear cat. We're gonna try to hit it. I always call it because I don't really know if it's a girl, but I think it's a girl. Before the bad weather hits, I have absolutely no theme for the show tonight, but I'll be babbling on and on. As I said, uh, my mother's birthday, fantastic sense of humor. I don't even know how many of those stories I want to tell you, except that she had incredible difficulty pronouncing the letter V, like vampire, vacation, valedictorian, and also Wix Vapor Rub, which she had requested many years ago for me to, when I was out in the world, when I come back to bring her some Wix Vapor Rub. I didn't hear the Vapor Rub part, and I thought she wanted candle wicks, so I had to go back to get actual, you know, something for her to snort, I guess. That'd be inhalers, fumes. It's a fume. So we've got the birthday show going on here. So you got a chocolate cake recipe to die for, and Mrs. Comic now she's gonna have to make me one. She can do the recipes coffee. That's just absolutely incredible. And then if I'm mostly the one that eats it, then if I don't eat it fast enough and it spoils, it's so sad. So we have to make sure that I eat it and freeze some of it because that's a crazy thing right there. Richter's in the house, so we also have whoever. If you hop into this thing and I don't see you or acknowledge you, I love you. I know you're there. I don't. The chat is there, but I can't really see it that close. I got to lean in, and but you can drop a comment or you can try to get Mrs. Comic's attention. And a lot of times she'll have something to tell me afterwards, and then she'll say so and so said bibbity bobbity boo, but I didn't know if I should interrupt you. And then it's usually she has great instincts. Because she tells me after the thing. So, and it really wouldn't matter if she did interrupt me. I mean, what the heck? I interrupt myself on a regular basis. So I'm going to be all over the place tonight. We still have our lodger upstairs, the cat who was Caesar, who was 30 feet up in a tree. He's such a sweetheart now. He just become less and less like a vampire every single day. I am sitting in my drive-in movie rocking chair, which lands me back to the theater, drive-in movie theater that we didn't go to because Caesar was up in a tree, but we got the Lynch event shirt. And this is, we can't wait. Mrs. Comic has one too. This is gifts, Christmas gifts for us from our daughter and her partner. And we're so excited. We'll be like rich hillbillies with our fancy rocking chairs at the drive-in movie. I also have right here slippers. Now I'll tell you, this is also a Christmas gift. See, you peckerheads, I mean in a nice way. You should know what slippers are. I spent my whole life, I don't even know what slippers are. So I'm just enjoying slippers right now. And these don't have any strings on them. The one pair of slippers that I had have strings. And Nutsy Toodles upstairs, everything with a string is a toy. I just did a pre live stream shower, and he, cute, adorable little fucker. He doesn't run out. He almost was sleeping in the bathroom while the shower was running. That's a little fucking weird. And then of course I let my pants. This is way too much information. I let my pants on the floor, thinking that if the suspenders hang up, he just leap up there like a lunatic and start chewing them. He decided to have a wrestling match with them on the ground and wrestle around, and so now I got teeth marks on my suspenders. But if I ever get under any kind of criminal investigation, I'll have a lot of explaining to do. Why there's teeth marks on my suspenders and all kinds of weird shit like that. So what happens is Mrs. Comic and I, Mary's still downstairs. I don't think she's going to make an appearance tonight. She hides a lot, but she does cry. Mary, I don't know if your cats and dogs have this. Mary has like at least 3 different cries, all directed at me. I'm not over on my sofa seat where she likes to sit on my lap tonight. I'm in my driving movie rocking chair. And if I'm not over there when she wants to sit on my lap, I'll hear about it. So that is a specific cry. When she wants food or she didn't get enough food or finish whatever I gave her, then she'll sit right there. And that's a whole different cry. There's a litter box in this other room. When she shits in it or pisses in it, she cries to let me know that she did her business and I should get rid of it. There it is. Mm-hmm. She did one of the cries. It could be a combination. That's the key is for me to decode whether it's she shit in the box or she needs more stuff to eat. When she's there crying, sit on my lap, that's a no-brainer. So Mary's running around here somewhere. So when we go upstairs to the bathroom, me and Mrs. Comic, we go separate or we go together. It sounds weird to go together, but Caesar, the upstairs gray cat lodger, actually really loves when it's a dual appearance. And then he goes nuts and he can't decide between the 2 of us, and one's in the bathroom and the other's playing at the steps, but he just runs back and forth this way and that. And if we do a solo run, the other one of us waits for the report. It's like, what did he do? And it doesn't sound like much, but he's always up to fucking something. So we got him to the point where Silvador, I should have put the picture up, where he will, and this was a nutball who just didn't even know how to be around people or play or anything. So I get him to, in the bathroom, jump up gingerly, politely, without any bloodshed, on our laps, respective laps, right like there, and then he gets treats out of my hand, not out of his hand. Right, so that was used as a training technique by me to trick that little cute fucker into jumping up on our lap, so it'd be a lap cat. But I didn't allow for the idea that we cannot go to the bathroom ever without sitting on treat getting stool. In fact, if it takes too long, like tonight, I'm gonna shower and shave and all that stuff, and it's taking a little bit too long, he starts wiggling his ass and he's ready to jump up on my lap. And it's not even a lap yet. So we have that excitement going on. Let's see here. Oh, I got my silly notes here. Well, that's from last week. I don't need that. Let's see here. Flipping the page here. Oh. The way that trolls in my idea hallway work is that all they need is to have, they're like little kids. If you show them a piece of candy, then we go that way. My rockstar friend Chris Barron posted on Threads a problem he has working out, because when he works out, he gets really tired, and then he wants to take a break. And when he doesn't work out, he gets really tired, and he wants to take a break. So I, over the period of my life, have had times when I was really a lean, mean, fucking Amish machine. I've been doing stand-up comedy for over 30 years. It's a shitty business. I actually started lifting weights, I don't know what year, for my nerves. And my nerves must have been really fucking shot because I was sculpted. I have fucking arms. I did the legs too. I'll explain to you why I have good legs. And I, I, I could tell that I must have had too many anger management stress issues because of I'm fucking big arms and I bench pressing fucking 275 pounds. And then fans, the caveman and the doughboy, that's what we call him, was the one guy looked like a caveman. He got the better of the two nicknames, admittedly so. And the other guy was kind of short and a little pudgy. He was the doughboy, but only because he worked at Pillsbury. So they tricked me into working out with them, and then they do leg day, and then they do arms and fucking shoulder. I don't know how the fuck we did it, but I got really fucking chiseled over in the gym. But I got into no small amounts of trouble in the gym. Now, I am not homophobic by any stretch of the imagination, but there was a very flamboyant guy over there who really liked me. Can't remember his name, and the way a gym is set up is that if you need a spot for anything, you just ask like who's ever like right there. So he came prancing across the fucking 75 yards of gym to ask me if I could spot him. And I said, sure. And then we got over there, and much to my dismay, he was on a squatting rack. And I didn't realize people needed a, a, a spotter when they were squatting, when they were doing the squat rack. And so I was eyeballing him a little bit, and then I say, hey, explain this to me again. He said, well, when I go down like this, and if I can't make it up, you wrap your arms around me and hoist up like that. And I said, is this a gay thing? And he said, you're not homophobic, are you? I said, no, it's just that I've been working out for 10 years and nobody's ever fucking asked me to stand behind them while they were squatting and wrap my arms around them and pick them up like this. So it's not really homophobic. It's just a question of a new kind of thing that's never happened to me. And then it turns out it seemed like it was a gay thing. I think he was actually hitting on me. And this was the most assholish thing I did was he put on too much weight on purpose so I'd have to help him. I'm like, fuck it, the whole gym's watching. The whole gym knew he was gay. The whole gym knew that he liked me. I just let him fucking crash. I'm not really a sports guy. And I had one other spotting story that, not my fault. This guy was a big guy. He looked like a Barbie Ken doll. And he asked me if I could spot him. And then I'm doing the spot, and he's on the bench, and he's 275 pounds, whatever the hell it is. And the plates went flying this way and that. And then they love to dick with me, so they made an announcement over the speaker that if anybody needed a spot and they didn't have anybody professional around to give them a spot, they should come and seek help. So I went back on the microphone and I said, also, if anybody is asking anybody to give them a spot and they have a bad fucking left shoulder, they ought to tell that to the fucking spotter. How the fuck did I know he had a bad left shoulder and his fucking arm, his left is doing this, and then his left arm fucking collapsed? At least give the guy a clue. Hey, I got a weak, bad shoulder, and also that begs the question, what the fuck are you doing trying to bench press 275 pounds when you have a fucking weak left shoulder? So I actually quit working out on and off, and Mrs. Comic, she got me into aerobics over there. That must have been a sight for all to see. But more ways to get in trouble is guys. This is how I learned guys are such assholes, mostly at the gym, because I was at the top of my game, weight training wise, and all that shit, and achieving a little bit of comedy celebrity status. And we were over at the happy hour, or whatever the hell we were. And there's people there that knew me, and I think I had a big show coming up. And one of the guys from the gym that I didn't really know, but was a little starstruck, he was fucking hammered. And I had a little circle of fans. I was talking to people, and he comes over and he's trying to help me out. And he makes an announcement to all these people. He goes, you should see this guy without any clothes on. Thanks for that. thank you very much for that. So, like I say, I work out now and again. I put weights here and all that stuff. But as far as working out over there, um, you actually get addicted to it, and then you start to pop muscles and shit in a good way, and you're like, "Fuck me, that's pretty badass armor." And then the other thing that happens is, um, it's always guys. I'm so fucking ashamed to be one of us. It's always guys. So my arms were really fucking good arms. I had definition on my triceps. Tri meaning three. You actually could see three different hunks of arm back there. Big fucking shoulders. And then when you are ripped like that, you definitely try to show it off. It's not like you're gonna put on a big 300-pound man balloon shirt and walk around. You wear a fucking tight shirt because you're fucking proud of this shit. So I was getting eyeballed, and that's where I was at the top of my game with gay men flirting with me in Broadway, which I really happen to love a lot. And that was more fun than whatever shit happened over at the gym there. So, but walking around in hillbilly country here, somehow guys who I believe were in terrible shape. Basically, it would be nobody who lifted weights and was in good shape would ever fucking say this. I didn't even figure that out till right now, this moment in my wise old man rocking chair here. It is someone who's in terrible shape and is possibly man jealous of my this is and that. On more than one occasion, people yelled out. A guy yelled out, "Hey, big arms! You know what they say? Big arms! You must got a small package." And I'm pretty sure he didn't say package. So now I'm thinking that's really a fucking weird thing to say to yell across the street. And this made me start to realize that guys were a terrible team. I never want to have a sex change, but sometimes I just didn't want to be in the man club. So to imagine to see somebody with arms and then you don't even know them, you just fucking yell it out. I'm so intimidated by your manly arms that I believe you have a small dick. What do you think of that? I think you're really fucking nuts. So the experiment would be also that once I stopped working out, I figured my schlong would grow. So and it didn't. So fuck him and his stupid ass theory. It doesn't. It's not even a thing that fucking. I mean, I don't know if women are this way or not, but that's how men are. Men are absolutely this way. This is how fucking terrible we are. I'm embarrassed to be one of them. And so, and we have Chris Barron, the rock stars, to blame for all this dumb shit stories I'm telling you at the gym here right now. So there's that. Okay. Oh, here we go. Uh, I probably talked. I talked about this last week. I don't want to talk about that. Book club. Here, I'm gonna show you something here. Book club. This is badass. I love reading. We know this. I love reading horror. I read sometimes things in horror that somebody who wrote horror that I like recommends. Sometimes it's a hit. Sometimes it's a miss. So Grady Hendrix suggested a short horror story, which I read, and then that led me to another short horror story that her daughter told me to read, and then Richter in with the bourbon bucks. All right, I hope I remember what I'm talking about. And so at the end of that story, the guy was talking about his influences and different books that he thought people should read. And so I came upon, I didn't start reading it yet, but I'm very excited. Let's see, where is it? I just bought this on my Kindle for $4.99. Last of the Alba Witches. The Levi Stoltzfus series number 4. Levi Stoltzfus crime series. That's number 4. There's 3 other ones before this, obviously. And I only picked this one because it had the buggy. It's got the buggy on the cover. And it's also only 150 pages, and some of them were 300. So if it really sucks batshit balls, and the author is Brian Keene, and I just read a thing that he wrote, and where is that? This is badass. If you like horror, you want to go read. This is the one our daughter suggested. Brian Keene. Where the hell is it? It is called. It's called Me Burping. Where the hell is it called? Theater of. Why the hell can't I find this thing? There's wait. I'll just hang on. Where are you gonna find live entertainment like this? If you're here tonight and it's free, don't think it'll be free. This level of entertainment every week. No, you're gonna have to pay for this fucking level of entertainment for me searching in here. I'm gonna find this fucking thing. This is how I'll find it. And you can look at me looking. Here's live scene. So I'm going into my Goodreads. I'm going to exit out of my Pokemon Go app. I'm going to go into my Goodreads and tell you that this book, not want to read, click on red. Okay, it's called Witching Hour Theater. You won't be able to see that. Witching Hour Theater. It's by Jonathan Jantz. Is who, and that's a fucking scorcher. This is like 100 pages, and it's about someone who likes slasher movies, and it happens in a theater, and it absolutely gets slashery. And this one scared the fuck out of me, but it does. It's not for the weak of stomach. Mrs. Comic will not read this book, and she will not hear this book. So that's some fun horror shit going on there. For me, that's book club for this week. I love a good scare. Let's see here. Now I'm going to close up my Kindle. I think that's. Let me show you what else here. Show and tell. There is Upstairs Caesar with the big yawn. I call him Mr. Gray. I call him a lot of things. And this picture reminded me of something silly that the cats between Mary and Caesar and any other cats that we know, they actually make me a lazy ass because if I'm thinking I'm gonna do something or go anywhere, and Mary's crying for me to sit my lazy ass down, I will pick up my Kindle and I will read. And Caesar's very demanding. Also, Caesar has not yet grasped the idea that I could just hang out with him and read. It's more Caesar's more all about the circus shit going on there. So the cats make me lazy, but it's also very rewarding. But it seems like I don't know how lazy I can be. I seem like I'm on constant cat duty. And Bearcat wants some shit. So there's that. Oh, I forgot something fun about the days of working out. So sometimes it's good to be a dumbass. So the first time I started working out wasn't for my show business nerves. It's just that I became like a fat slob and I just wasn't working out. And Mrs. Comic was taking aerobics over to conditioning club, and she convinced me to go work out, and it was segregated men's on one side, women on the other. That's the dumbest fucking thing. I don't know why they thought that would work. But I don't think I was fat, but I had a good gut on me, and everything about me was flab. And so you do the assessment with them when you first join up, and they give you a program. So it was circuit training. So I had a circuit of like, I don't know, like 20 different machines to hit all night long. And then at the end of that, I was supposed to do like fucking 10 running laps around this track that went around the thing. And when you first start, then it's one circuit. And then as the weeks went on, then they'd say, well, now you're going to do your circuit twice. And so I got up to 3 circuits, and I was doing the running after every one, but that turned out after I lost 38 pounds that I only would have had to run after the final circuit. So I could have circuit, run, but I did circuit, run, circuit, run, circuit, run. And I'm happy that I tricked myself. And Mrs. Comic was like, well, I'll be done at like 8:30. I'm like, well, I'll be done at like 10:30 because she probably thought I had a girlfriend, but it's just that the running and the whole thing that put a whole extra time on the thing. So hooray for me. But then the weird thing there was too, as the years unfolded with gyms, there became more schlub people friendly gyms, and the actual lean mean killing machine bodybuilding guys got sort of their own gyms. Like Gold's Gym initially was all the really chiseled muscle people. But in these days, they were kind of just moshed up. And so they had mirrors everywhere. And these guys are so fucking narcissistic douchebags. They fucking, they work and they get their arms. And then they go over to the mirror and stand and they pose. They pose in this mirror and they twist and they do an arm. All these fucking people around. It wasn't just one. And it was all men, right? It was all men posing. And I hadn't even completed 1 week of circuits yet, and I joined the posing line. So I just hop in there and I start posing, and I check my stomach, and I turn sideways, and I look, and I flap my arms and all that shit. And nope, they didn't mock me. They didn't ask me what the fuck I was doing. They didn't even know that I was totally mocking them, and they didn't know I was mocking them. So that's a story. I'm glad I would have liked to tell it in proper sequence. But and when I first started working out over there, they had some weird machines. I didn't even fucking know how to get in them. The weird things is you put your leg in and you put your head in. There's like a neck machine, and people. I never did the neck machine because that was one of my big fears when I did weightlifting comedy. Was that apparently after too much weightlifting, men actually lose their necks and their head just drops right on their fucking shoulders, and then they walk. If you see those guys walking around like that, that's because they were on the neck machine, and the neck machine strengthens the neck, but apparently it also sucks the neck right in, and that probably gives you definition in the chest like that. I wanted to get out of there before I lost my neck, even though who the fuck would know if I even had a neck with his beard and everything. But that was a weird one. And I also wanted to get out of there before I got the bodybuilding waddle that was part of the neck, where you just have to kind of walk like that. It's the dumbest fucking thing. So that really cured me of wanting to ever go back to weightlifting. Now, before that, during that, or after that, Mrs. Comic and I, because we never have any money. We didn't have money then. Joining a gym cost money, so we decided to have a whack at working out at home. So we did, not here, but in the place we were just right up the road, we did the Thai bow tapes with Billy Blank. And Sparky was flying the whole fuck around. Sparky loved it. She got all fucking worked up because it's kind of a violent workout. It says poo, poo, and pull and punch and punch and punch and punch and punch and punch and punch. And Sparky would fly all fuck around and she'd land on us and get all worked up. Mrs. Comic would be doing yoga and she'd be doing the pose. And Sparky would fly down and land on her ass. And so we had Thai bow tapes. And again, I actually, oh man, I gotta find that. I actually did there was a guy over at the conditioning club, man aerobic instructor, who, it's weird to say I think he's gay, but he seemed very gay. He's very flamboyant, but he's really a nice guy. Like, it'd be weird to find a nice homosexual. So I didn't know what the fuck I was doing then. So he peer pressured me into coming over to join aerobics with Mrs. Comic. And I wound up doing that. So I was actually very appreciative of him to push me into stepping up my aerobic game. And so I actually made a goof workout tape called Aerobics with Raymond. And he absolutely loved it. And I'm complaining, pull the leg, pull the leg, that shouldn't go back that far. So that somewhere in this house is an Aerobics with Raymond. I don't even know what fucking possessed me to. I wasn't even doing stand-up comedy then yet. I was just being a dick for no apparent reason. Then there was another guy that we worked out to, Gilad, a fancy European guy who had tights on and big hair, and he worked out on the beach. And that fucker, remember that, Gilad? And you'd have to keep up with him on TV, and he'd go, and you'd already be in fucking pain, and he'd go, and turn to the other side, and 3, and 2, and 1, and give me 3 more, and he kept fucking saying, and 3 more, and 6 more, and 10 more. So the counting, when somebody says I need 10 more, and you do the 10, you should be fucking done. You don't say shit, and give me 10 more, and 3, and 2, and 1, and give me 12 more. What the fuck is that about? So, and then he worked down on the beach, which seemed nicer for him. And then we had bicycles in here, and we got the tapes where you could bicycle along the cliffs of Hawaii, and we were like, that's fucking stupid. There's no fucking way to do that. So the long and short of it is that we worked out, we tried all the workouts, and they actually all work. See, there's there's no real bad workouts. It's just a matter you gotta fucking do them, and also you gotta eat better. So there's only, and that's my New Year's resolution is to tell all of you how to work out and eat better, so I don't have to. So there's that. Now my bra strap's falling down here. That bourbon's kicking in. Don't forget her. It's my mother's birthday party here. Let's see here. Oh, I got the book club, Levi Stoltzfus series number 4. That that book could really suck, but I feel like I have to read it. There's some things Amish crime detective Levi Stoltzfus. It seems like I absolutely have to. Okay, now wait a minute. Oh. This has nothing to do with anything, but since I'm over in this chair tonight instead of over there, I was thinking back to my very first live stream, and actually my first year, possibly my first 2 years of live streaming. I actually stood up. There should be a microphone here, and you were watching Sparky go up and down the microphone. But I actually tried to do like stand-up comedy. I thought, fuck me in a bucket of goo. I'm going to sit down, and my only regret is that I didn't think that I should sit down sooner than I did. So there's that, and I've got a couple of notes here. Posing in the mirror, tie bow, boom roasted. Let's see here. That I can't even read my own writing there. Oh, that's Gilad. I just spelled Gilad weird. Book club, there's that. Mary's 3 cries. Cats make me lazy. Boom. My mother's birthday. 107 years old she would have been. Holy smoke, that's something right there. And flipping through my pages here. Oh, there's good stuff to watch. Also, the new season of True Detective. It's got 2 episodes. Jodie Foster. It's called, I don't know what it's called. It's HBO. And then our daughter Josie and her husband they didn't watch the first couple of seasons, and they wanted to start with Jodie Foster. And that's fine. The True Detectives, you can watch them in whatever order you want. But I already knew they'd love the Jodie Foster one, and there was only 1 episode up. So I texted her and I said, when you have withdrawals from only having 1 episode, go to season 1. Mm-hmm. True Detective season 1. If you folks haven't seen it, Matthew McConaughey, I think it's his best performance in anything I've ever seen him in. Woody Harrelson, fantastic. They're crazy cop investigators, but not just regular crime. It's a case that's really fucking weird and creepy and scary, and that's so. I told Josie and Al to watch that, and I was going to watch it along with them, but I can't stop. So I watched that whole fucking season. Well, I only watched a couple episodes, but I will keep rewatching it, Mrs. Comic and I. And in season 2, True Detective isn't very good. It has good people in it. It made me sad. Season 3, we powered that right up. Season 3 is back on track. But True Detective, season 1, if you haven't seen it, check it out. I used to mock at it in my show a little bit when it was relevant. Matthew McConaughey is dark and bleak and not evil, but he understands evil. And he really had a rough life. And so he's good at lowering himself to this level of evil. But he goes off on these rants, and it's in like Bible Belt country about, and Woody Harrelson's faces are amazing because Matthew McConaughey will be sitting there spacing out, and Woody Harrelson will go, "What do you do for fun to enjoy life?" And he'll start right up. there's no point in trying to enjoy life at all. It's just filled with despair and depression, and you get chasing a false hope. You might as well just drag yourself into the muck and mire. And that's why I'm good at tracking down the evil, because I gotta be a bad man to catch a bad man. And then Woody Harrelson's face are like, let's make this car a place of reflective silence. So their back and forth is absolutely incredible. That's a series that I can watch again and again and again. Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo. Yes, I think that's all my excitement. I don't really know. I mean, posing in the mirror. How you gonna top posing in the mirror at the gym?
Okay,
You can't.
aerobics.
The aerobics are good. Oh, I don't know if I told you that before, but Mrs. Comic and I were so good at working out that we were featured aerobic uh, class participants at a gym, a conditioning club trade show, where people came in and we were up there fucking kicking it and fucking. Did I wear spandex? I probably did. That there's some, but sometimes it's really lucky that they didn't have cell phones to take pictures, because like me in spandex, and what's really weird about me in spandex is A, I was in really good shape, so I could fucking wear spandex. But B, I didn't stick out because they all fucking wore it. Everybody wore it. All these guys wore spandex and they walked around and they posed in the fucking mirror. So yeah, it's I am grateful. Here's to no smartphones in the days of me aerobicizing with spandex, because that would have been an ugly sight. So there's that. There has to be more shit going on. I make all these notes. I make all these notes, and then what do? I forget. That's what I do. I forget. Snow. See, now I roll into my notebook. It rolls into shit from last week. Oh, I'm gonna mock some people from the days of working out, and I won't say what their names are. So that way, if they ever watch this, they'll know that I didn't say what their name is, but they're both such dumb sons of bitches, they will announce to the world that it was them. This is what, like, one of the stories was. I might have told this story before, but they were so immature, they were arguing amongst themselves over how old they thought a girl was there who was working out that none of us knew. And I couldn't fucking take it anymore, so I just went over, and they saw me go, and they were both ready to shit in their spandex. And I said, look, I know this is real creepy, but Dumb and Dumber over there are having an argument over how old they think you are. Now, if you want to tell me, that's fine. If you don't want to tell me, that's also fine, because it's really rude, but they're driving me fucking nuts. And I kind of hope that they both lose. And then she told me her age. I guess one guessed 23 and one guessed 35. There's a fucking range. Possibly she was 29. And when I came back and I reported it, that they were both kind of sort of off, they said, oh, we weren't talking about her. We were talking about someone else. So this is the kind of shit I had to put up with at the gym there. And that story seemed like it was better in my mind. It was. It was better in my mind. That story should have stayed in my mind where it was funny. Now that it's out and it's not funny, I can't even reflect on it in a good humor anymore. I can't say, that's a funny memory right there, because I fucked it up by telling the story and realizing it's not funny. I'm fucking up my own special memory. How about that? That's terrible right there. Oh, that's another thing I noticed. Special memory. It's tied into some more weird stories. If people ever see this show that are connected to any of these stories, so dear friend Frank, who is sometimes in with us, but he's having too much fun with his beautiful wife. They go on the rooftop bars and they're having all kinds of fun in life. But excuse me, I have to burp. Back in the days when we used to go up to New York, he got us going up to New York a lot. We've seen Philip Glass in a bar for like $10. And we had a It was me and Mrs. Comic and Frank, and I won't say the other guy's name. That's the mystery name, but that was Frank's friend, and he was a nice enough guy, but he didn't quite fit in with us. He wasn't like anything wrong with him other than he didn't have the sense of humor that we had, and he was also fun to torment. So we torment him a little bit, and then we would all see a thing, and I'd say, "Did you see that?" And they go, "Yeah." I'd say, and I go, "Here's how I feel about that." And Mrs. Comic would go, "Yes, here's how I feel about that." And Frank would go, "Here's how I feel about that." And it was all something bad. And then the person that I'm talking about, whose name I won't say, would go, "That seems really cool." And we'd be like, "What the fuck's wrong with him?" So on such occasion, when we're riding around New York, we always Frank always made us get street parking, so we could spend an hour riding around the block, so you could park on the street, so we wouldn't have to spend $85 to park in a garage. Um, so we were driving through a little bit of off Broadway theater, Philip Glass. See, I can't remember the Joyce Theater, right? And it's a nice neighborhood, but it's a village. But it's also around the corner. Is hookers down there, and there was, I would say, probably about a 300-pound dark skinned hooker who was just falling all out of her thing. It was just one of the most horrible things that I'd ever seen. And the three of the four of us agreed, and the person who didn't agree went, tempting. That was fucking creepy. And me just saying tempting before reminded me of that. So thanks a lot, fucking.
And it wasn't Mark. It was somebody
Oh
else.
no, it wasn't Clee. No, don't worry. Disclaimer. That's Mrs. Comic sticking up for Clee. No, Clee fucking got it. Clee rolled with us. He knew all the shit. Uh,
This
this
is someone else.
this was someone else that we used to torment. No, I wouldn't keep Clee's names secret. And besides that, any dumb shit we pulled off, he'd be proud for me to tell what it was. So there was a whole bunch of those kind of stories with him, and I don't even know what brought that up.
Yeah, what was it?
There was a point to that. And now that point is gone. Although it didn't ruin any kind of fun memories for me, that was my own special memory. And that's what that was. But see, these are phrases like we'll laugh and we'll hear them. So we went to see. This isn't even funny, but it's Mrs. Comic and I were sharing a moment with you that will stay with us because that's you won't even get it. We love Philip Glass, and Philip Glass is now like the modern times Beethoven. You, you can't get a ticket for anything he does. He's all over the world. When back in these hippie days, he never wanted to play his music. He wanted to compose it and get people to play it for him. And so he wound up having to play it. So we go around to see all these cool things in New York, see Philip Glass Ensemble in the bar room for $10. And again, I lost the fucking point of this story.
You were saying my own special memory.
My own special memory. Thank you. So, um, imagine being able to a new Philip Glass album is coming out, right? And you'd have to love Philip Glass. Whoever the band is that you love, this album's coming out. An album called Glassworks was coming out, and we saw this in New York for like $15 in a small theater right before they went into the studio. And it's a beautiful album, Glassworks. And at our performance, with the ensemble, they had a brilliant female opera singer, vocalist, and she was fierce. And she didn't want to be background singer. She wanted her part to be written like an instrument. And so it was phenomenal. We couldn't believe we heard this thing. But then when the recording came out, the female vocalist was not on it. I don't know why. I don't know what the backstory is, but it was the album, which is beautiful, without female singing. And our friend, whose name shall remain nameless, said, I guess that will be my own special memory. Why we are such nitpickers is that there were three other of us with him, so it actually wasn't his own special memory. It was all of our special memories. I know that's nitpicking, but that's why I have no guilt from another time because we used to watch MASH, and they'd be having fun on MASH, and they'd be having parties and shit. And then when they'd hear the helicopters, that meant wounded were coming in. That meant surgery. That meant blood. That meant the fucking party's over. And somebody, whoever said it in the show, was the Debbie Downer. They'd be doing shots. They'd be having fun. And then someone would go, "Uh-oh, choppers." And we're going to New York, and we're in his car, and we had Frank designed all this weird shit to torment this guy. It was his friend, so I just went along with it. I wasn't going to say, "No, we shouldn't do that. It's too mean." So he said, "Uh-oh, choppers." And then we all had little toy helicopters, and we got them at Perkins. Yeah, we got them in a little toy machine, and we were singing the theme song, which I can't even sing today, and flying these fucking choppers around. And for reasons I couldn't tell you, didn't phase him at all. He didn't ask us, what are we doing? Why are we singing the MASH theme song? Where's my helicopter? It just went right over his fucking head. So we had fun tormenting him that way. Then there was another torment him story. These are so fucking stupid, but they're special to us. Oh, I know what it was. I know what it was. This ties into going to the one time we went up there. It wasn't the same event, but we went into one of those mafia pizza joints that's not really open. They just take the violin case in the back that has a machine gun in it, and they get their pay, and they go and they do their hit. So we went into one of those, and we ordered a pizza, and we should have left because they told us they were closed. Yeah, we had been there before, and there was no people there. Like, oh, this would be great. So it wasn't that place, but then we had gone up there with this other person to get pizza some other place, and there was Mrs. Comic and I shared a pizza, and those two shared a pizza, and they fucking annihilated theirs, and we couldn't finish ours. And the person who shall remain nameless wasn't shy about saying, "May I try a piece of your pizza?" And because I like to torment him on there, that would be $4.95 a slice. He fucking could have got it for free. But I was teasing him, and then he didn't take it as a tease, so I kept the fucking tease going. So as the story unfolds, he did not get one of our slices of pizza because he would not pay the $4.95, and he could have just taken it off the plate. I wouldn't have given a shit. So then we had actually like two slices that they boxed up for us to take out of there. And the focus was there was two extra slices of pizza. He could have had one for fucking free or $4.95 because I was a dick. Now these two slices of pizza got boxed up, and I told Mrs. Comic, I said, I don't really want to carry these out. I do not want to carry these out. And he went fucking nuts. For 3 blocks, he was going, "Oh, I guess somebody's too good to carry pizza." So that's a phrase that means something to us. Too good to carry pizza. It doesn't fucking mean anything to anybody else except it does to us. Now I can rat Frank. Frank, I love him. He's such a good friend. Clee's sister, he ran around with us. Maybe you can meet him someday. He's just absolutely amazing. We running around. Now again, I lost the fucking story. Pizza. Another story. Pizza. Tormenting. Oh. This other person, I would say, would be considered cheap. And so, quiet. You're not the boss of me. Technically, my show ended. So, a running joke for us is, would you like to try? If you have a can of peanuts or jar of peanuts, would you like some? Then you just offer them, and people eat them. But he had a jar of macadamia nuts, and they were expensive. I'll grant him that. But we're in New York, so they must have been really expensive. And he said, I said, "I never had a macadamia nut." And he said, "Would you like to try a nut?" Yes, I would. And he actually reached in the jar with his own fingers, and he removed one nut, and he gave it to me, and I fucking ate it. And I don't remember if you got a nut
I don't remember.
or if I got, I know I didn't get another one, but that's a running joke with us now. And Frank, would you like to try a nut? Now, this should tell you that I am completely out of stories for this week. When I'm telling stories that really have no fucking punchline or humor whatsoever, try a nut. Oh, there was one more. There was one more that um, I never saw him do it except this one time. This guy was really big, and I wish I could say his name. He was tall and he was kind of husky. Well, he used to go out. It was the dumbest fucking thing. I hope I remember all this. So he had a stupid hat. There's hats you can wear for fashion, and there's hats you can wear to warm your head. When you wear one for fashion, it doesn't fucking matter what the temperature is. So before we go pick him up, he'd go out with one of these fucking stupid fashion hats, and I can't say his name, and we call the hat the name of the person is that kind of hat. And so he'd go out and he'd put it on his head, and he'd say how he felt, and he's very serious about it. I went, "What the fuck are you doing?" He said, "I want to see if it's a hat day or not." And he also did it with sunglasses, which is really fucking dumb because the sun could be behind fucking clouds. So he'd go out, he'd do sunglasses test, and he'd do fucking hat test, right? So now I had a hat that was just really, when we still have it, such an amazing gift from some friends who we were house sitting for them, and they went to Peru, and they're amazing people, and they brought me back a hat from Peru, Peruvian handmade hat made in Peru, and it's the most amazing thing. It's a little woolen hat, and it's a little pointy top, and I possibly have worn that on this show. I possibly have told this story during the pandemic. It seems like the kind of thing I would have had to say. I'm out of stories. I got to tell the Peruvian pointy hat story. So I had my pointy Peruvian hat going up to New York. And here it is, Mrs. Comic. That's why I married her, so she could run and get my Peruvian pointy hat. There is this, right? Okay, so now this is this, and I put this on, and I argued with this person all the way up to New York that if we had a stupid hat contest, he would win. He would win stupid hat. And he got really upset. He couldn't understand how his stupid hat was dumber than my stupid hat. And I think we all voted and we agreed his hat was dumber because that's how we would do it. So we went into a museum, I believe, by whichever museum is by the park where Shakespeare in the Park is. Or what's
Metropolitan Museum.
Metropolitan Museum, and it's Central Park across the street. When we got out, I was heartbroken because I put my coat on, I reached in my pocket on my special contest winning, not stupidest hat was fucking gone. And I actually was heartbroken because it's nothing I could buy or replace. And by the car, we had street parking. It's important to the story. Street parking, they had one of them scary fucking horror movie Exorcist iron rod fences with the fucking spikes and the points and all that shit. Apparently, I dropped my award-winning, not stupidest hat right by the car, and somebody in New York, fucking love New York. No matter what people tell you, New York's fucking badass. Somebody took it and put it on the pointy fence, right like that, by the car. I couldn't fucking believe it. It was like a Christmas present. And the amazing thing is, any other hat you would put on that fence, it would ruin it. Didn't ruin this at all. It actually, like, I wish I had it now. It's more like a hat preserver. So there you have it. I cannot possibly top pointy hat story. So that's going to wrap it up for making Tuesdays suck less. Mrs. Comic says hello. We love you. Cheers to my mother. Happy birthday. And let's not forget the author of Fuck You and a Bucket of Goo. And we never knew what the goo was. So here we go. So there's that. I'm going to do this. And I'll leave you with the big yawn of Caesar. Good night. Have a great week. And we should